A Far Cry stands at the forefront of an exciting new generation of entrepreneurial-minded classical musicians. The New York Times says the self-conducted orchestra brims with personality, or better, personalities, many and varied. Founded in 2007 by a tightly knit collective of 17 young professional musicians, the choirs continue to foster those personalities while developing an innovative structure of rotating leadership both on stage and behind the scenes. By expanding the boundaries of the orchestral repertoire and experimenting with the ways music is prepared, performed, and experienced, A Far Cry has been embraced throughout the world with hundreds of performances coast to coast and across the globe, and hundreds of thousands of online views of live streaming concerts and YouTube archives. The Criers are proud to call Boston home, maintaining strong roots in the city while rehearsing at their storefront music center in Jamaica Plain and fulfilling the role of chamber orchestra in residence at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. In a recent playful interview at the 21CM Studios, A Far Cry was asked by Mark McCoy about abandoning the use of a conductor.
At the beginning, we referred to ourselves as unconducted. We tried non-conducted, and nothing really felt quite right. We eventually settled on self-conducted. So I think that's actually a healthier way to look at it. We have more conductors than any other orchestra that I know of.
I think the advantage that we have and why we do it is that even though it's more difficult, it also means that the entire group is bought in because there isn't a hierarchy. Every single member has the ability to be the executive, at least some of the time, in terms of musical decision making, and that's the advantage that you get when you don't have someone on a podium.
Artistic in purpose, entrepreneurial in practice, A Far Cry broke away from their traditional record label and soon after released 2 recordings on their own in-house label, Crier Records.
We have such a strong vision for our program, so we wanted to kind of see the process through all the way, from not just choosing the music, but choosing, collaborating with how the record would sound, what the graphic design process would be, how we could get it into avenues where people could listen to it. So I think it wasn't so much, let's take on the world, but it was like, we have to do it a certain way. We have such a strong feeling that we just have to do it ourselves. And of course it was a lot more work than I thought it would be, like most things are. So I was like, yeah, of course we can start our own record label, no problem.
Dreams and Prayers of Isaac the Blind and Law of Mosaics have garnered a Grammy nomination and critical acclaim from The New Yorker's Alex Ross. Music on the Square in Greencastle, Indiana resides at the heart of an idyllic and historic community that boasts of an array of hometown businesses. Tonight, this is where A Far Cry calls home, hosting a first ever event, Storytellers at M Squared. Storytellers is billed as a get-to-know-the-artist event comprised of half performance, half VH1-style reality art music television, hosted by 2 dynamic undergraduate music majors within the DePauw School of Music. What stands out about this event is the convergence of high art and a true sense of connectivity, informality, and oneness.
We have a system with axles and spokes, and those go together. Axles are like the center of the wheel, and those people bring together the artistic vision for the whole year. Everything from dreaming about it to really the nitty-gritties of making sure everything gets done when it comes down to it.
The absolute beauty of A Far Cry's performance is undeniable Grammy-nominating stuff. Audience members converged around the artist in a space that felt more like your mother's living room than venues that don familiar names such as Kennedy, Carnegie, or Lincoln. The audience was truly connected, silent and awed during the most tender moments, as well as quick to respond with the kind of enthusiasm more familiar to an Upper West Side jazz club than a concert venue. What A Far Cry is able to accomplish through an ethos that meets audiences where they are is to connect art, artists, and audiences. Something as rare as it is remarkable.
So we'd like to move on to Liesel and Carl, which are the cutest married couple I've ever seen.
So we met at Carnegie Hall, where we were both playing.
Casual.
Can we get the other choirs up here?
Absolutely. Other guys, come on, join us.
Who's the most likely to show up late to rehearsal?
Can I just say something, Pat? In life, the best thing is to improve on your foibles.
Set your standards low.
Embracing the democratization of the artistic process, learning from their relationships with audiences, and growing from their most surprising successes and epic failures. A Far Cry aims to pass on the spirit of collaboratively empowered music to the next generation, boldly advancing the art form, confidently embracing an entrepreneurial mindset, and courageously navigating their artistic vision from within. Whether re-envisioning the canon of orchestral repertoire or finding new ways to collaborate across art forms, A Far Cry continues to forge their own unique paths towards artistic success. A path not defined by the past, but rather by the rare talents and rich cultural traditions of each and all members. In the booth at 21CM Studios, director Mark Rabideau spoke off camera with a Far Cry violinist Miki Sophia Cloud about the choir's fearless approach to their craft. But he could see hesitation, as what he thought to be complimentary observations did not resonate with her.
I wouldn't exactly say that we're fearless. In fact, as artists and as entrepreneurs, we're actually in fear a lot of the time. Whenever you take artistic and administrative risks, whenever you experiment with new techniques or ideas in a very public arena, even the simple act of surrendering completely to the music and giving of yourself fully to an audience in a live performance, frankly, I don't think it's possible to do any of those things wholeheartedly without having some fear involved. What there has to be is something stronger than the fear. And from the beginning in A Far Cry, there's been this desire, this very deep need to make music together and to share it with everyone we encounter. And that has always been so much stronger than the fear.